That includes the chat. Just be mindful of that.
And Lisa, are you able to turn on closed caption with it this way for you?
Ooh, what do I do? Remind me again. Yes. What do I gotta go?
We usually do it from preview instead of publish to web, so I'm not.
It may not work.
Okay.
Oh, I
But
see.
the recording does create a transcript for anybody who might need it. So
Okay.
All right, well, let me try to share my screen one more time the other way, right? Just the normal, like the normal way. And just as long as I don't lose my cursor, we're in business. But for some reason, every time I did that, all right, I have my cursor. Woohoo! All right.
all right, we are live.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to have you here today with us. Today is one of our sessions, our second in a series of the feedback buffet mini series. Today is part 2 of that 3-part series, but it is our Flipgrid first course. So again, this is part of the DPI Arts Education team's feedback buffet mini series. Just a quick note that we are recording today's webinar and posting it to our webinar archive. You can also click on the link to the bit.ly that was shared in the chat to follow along with the slide deck and access later if you wish. You'll want to hold on to that and come back and look at all of those resources that we've shared towards the end of the slide deck. Please also take a moment to notice the graphics on the page that are clickable links for you to find our Google site homepage that you're going to want to be familiar with. There's a lot of great information and resources for you on there. It has updates and links to register for any upcoming webinars, our webinar archive that I mentioned before with recordings of previous sessions, and a page devoted to remote learning resources. We also now have some SEL resources on there as well, and so it's going to be a great page for you to come back to often. You're going to want to also sign up for our listserv to make sure that you're receiving our newsletters in your email and follow our Facebook page for consistent updates. All right. On to our next page. I'd like to take a moment just to introduce ourselves quickly to you. My name is Sayward Grindley. I am your dance and visual arts consultant for DPI, and my arts ed team member who you'll hear from in just a moment is Brandon Rader. He's your music and theater arts consultant. He and I work closely together as a team, and we each have extensive experience in all 4 arts areas, so we really work together on all 4 content areas. Our section chief for social studies and arts education is former theater educator Dr. Lori Major Carlin. I don't believe she is here with us today, correct? Okay, but we really thank her for her wonderful leadership and having a positive and solution-focused mindset. And then we are super excited to have once again here with us a special guest to share an introduction and her tips for using Flipgrid for feedback and assessment. We're happy to have Dr. Lisa Hervey from NC State joining us today. Lisa?
Hi, everybody. Look forward to the rest of this day.
Just a few housekeeping reminders that we do encourage your video, but it's not required. Feel free to use the chat for any questions or tech issues that you have, and either Brandon or I will respond. And remember to stay muted so that we don't get any background noise, unless, of course, you have a question and you need to ask that during our Q&A time, then you're always welcome to unmute at that point. We do have it on closed caption so that you can follow along, but if for any reason you cannot hear or get your sound to work, remember that we are recording and you can always go back and watch the recording later if there's anything that you've missed. All right, our agenda for today will include time to see your tools in action, which today that tool is Flipgrid. And so you'll see examples from that as well, and we'll go through with some reflection and then a Q&A time and your closure. Our webinar goals today include helping you understand Flipgrid for engaging students and for providing meaningful feedback and assessment in arts education, and then some ideas for using Flipgrid in your own classrooms. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Brandon really quickly.
All right, thank you very much. So we, again, as noted earlier, this is part of a buffet, so come and take what you need. Last week we had multimedia feedback covering Padlet, Screencastify, and Why am I blinking?
Vocaroo.
Vocaroo, the one that I actually used to teach this week. It was amazing. If you missed it for some crazy reason, please know that it is in our webinar archive and you can access it, watch it, access all the slides, all the notes, all of the idea padlets that we got or collected in ideas. And you can even still earn your CEUs from that session by visiting us in the webinar archive. Next week, we're going to get into the most delicious parts of Flipgrid in Flipgrid desserts. So don't miss out next week. Same time, same place, same link. All right. So we're going to just oh, that's right. If you come to all 3 sessions and you earn your CEU certificates from all 3, you'll be able to resubmit them and earn this super sweet digital badge. We did the same thing for the Making Lemonade series. I know that I have my digital badge at the end of my email signature, and I'm looking forward to adding the super clutch one as well. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look just really quick at some generic arts education stats and reminders. We serve over 1.5 million students in North Carolina in all 4 arts areas at a plethora of schools. There are over 7,000 arts teachers, so we are here to help each other. We can all learn from one another. The great things about arts educators is that we love to share. So that's why we are here today. On the next slide, you'll see a reminder of our comprehensive arts education framework. And we do really, really encourage everybody to try and find opportunities for students to not only receive their quality arts education, but also working with classroom teachers for arts integration and our partner organizations for arts exposure. Lots and lots and lots of organizations are getting their virtual field trips and virtual performances together. All right, stay tuned in the listserv to find out more about those. Again, if you've been to any of our sessions, you know how much I love this instructional design principles for remote learning and teaching framework published by DPI and the Friday Institute. If you are unfamiliar with it, if this is your first time, please do come back to this slide, click on it, and read all about the great ways that we can support our students. One great way, which is on the next slide, is attending to our students' SEL needs. We've got guidance documents, an interactive castle wheel, and some more content-specific PLC, professional development webinars that you can access, all on meeting our students' social and emotional learning needs. And you can do that by coming back to the slide at any time. All right, well, that is our updates from Arts Ed here at DPI, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the plate to our amazing, do you like all my dad jokes? I'm trying really hard. I'm gonna pass the plate over to Lisa to serve you up some Flipgrid first course.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Same word. And guys, those are really great resources. Don't think that those are just on there to fill up a Google slide. They are amazing resources. And if you're not in there digging in and looking at all the great work that these 2 guys and their team has done, along with the work with Friday Institute, then you're really missing out. So definitely take a look at some of those links and those previous slides when you get a chance. But we are here today to learn a little bit about Flipgrid. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself so you kind of can understand how I wound up here and having the honor and privilege of teaching you Flipgrid this afternoon. I'm Dr. Lisa Hervey. I've been in education for over 22 years. I just finished a 3-year stint as the Director of Innovation K-12 and the K-4 Elementary Principal at Eastwick Academy. It's a great opportunity to get back on the ground and taking a look at how we're amplifying student learning with technology in the era of testing and MTSS and all of those things. Prior to that, I was at the Friday Institute. I was a senior research scholar there. Probably worked with some of those folks that worked on that framework. I had the honor and privilege of going all around this great state of North Carolina and beyond, just to help teachers begin to use digital resources and technology to engage and enhance student learning. Prior to that, I was a 6th through 8th grade language arts teacher right here in Wake County's public separate school. So very difficult and marginalized population that I worked with there for 10 years. And so that's my education. I've been doing it for 22 years, taught at all levels, coached teachers, been a principal. But prior to that, I was actually an air traffic controller in the Navy. And I tell people that for a couple of reasons. One, because I've been telling people where to go and what to do for so long. And then two, which is most important, Brandon, Sayward, and I, and all of their team, we're all here to make sure you get where you need to be safely. All right. And part of that starts today with us teaching you kind of the basics of a really great tool that we feel is really wonderfully suited for arts education. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but I'm going to stop there and I'm going to begin with the end in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and give you a basic 101 walkthrough of what Flipgrid is. We're going to make one together. I'll point out all its little funky features, and that's all I'm really going to do. You're going to be able to walk away today being able to make and set up a Flipgrid. And after that, then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a ton of examples from the field of actually how teachers are currently using Flipgrid in this unique and challenging time. So, and then we'll drop you into Plurn. So we're going to give you the insight on how to create it. We're going to begin with the end in mind and give you some model exemplars. And then we're going to give you some time to get in there and Plurn, play to learn to plan. And that means messing around with Flipgrid, seeing what it does, maybe even make a fun one for yourself that you send to your family. So that's the plan for today. How does that sound to everybody? Anything coming through the chat? Say a word to Brandon.
No, we're good. They're ready.
Okay, so yay. Thank you, Janet. I like that. Yay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, unfortunately, I'm going to get off this presentation because I can't really teach you how to teach a tool through a Google slide. But what I want to tell you, though, before we get started is that, I don't just do these things because, oh, Flipgrid's amazing. No, Flipgrid really has some theoretical basis for why we should use it. And it's called Universal Design for Learning. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this. And we just have to remember when we're planning any instruction that all of the kids in our classroom learn differently. That doesn't mean they get a label, doesn't mean they need something extra. It's just simply the truth. We all learn differently. And so therefore we have to pay attention to 3 specific areas. We need to make sure that we're changing up how we represent our content. It's not always just text on a piece of paper, right? There's multimedia, right? There's all sorts of ways to represent your content and for them to represent what they know as well. Another area is action and expression. How are we giving our kids voice and choice to show what they know in a variety of ways? Not just the bubble in the little circle, but are there other ways that you're using these tools to help kids show what they know? And last but not least, Universal Design of Learning really talks about engagement. Well, guess what? Technology gets you there in spades, right? It helps get kids excited and it sustains their motivation. Flipgrid is one of those tools that will really help you get there. So this is what guides my thinking when I use Flipgrid, but let's get into Flipgrid first. But I want to first clear up let's have some common language before I even get into the tool. So Flipgrid has gone through a big overhaul. And there used to be something called grids and topics. Well, now they've changed it to groups and topics. But I would just need you to kind of get your head around it, right? A group, you need to think about a group like a book, right? And I know that in the free account, and Sayward or Brandon, you can correct me, but I believe you get 5 books, right? Or groups, right? And a lot of times teachers get turned off by that because they're like, I can't just use something 5 times. That's not going to work for me. But if you think about groups as a book, and you may only get 5 books, but you have to think about topics as a chapter. And guess what? There's unlimited chapters in each of your books. So even though you only get 5, you have so many topics you can put into each book. Okay? Now, that'll make more sense once we get into Flipgrid. Now, I'm going to walk you through during this actual webinar. It is also going to be recorded, but just in case, just to double down, I have a whole other slide here that will walk you through, again, how to set it up step by step, plus a video to watch. I walk you through setting up your first Flipgrid, okay? So we've got you every which way but loose, okay? All right, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to jump out, and I'm just going to go and jump into the tool itself, okay? So I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to go to Flipgrid. Now, I'm going to type in Flipgrid and, oops, give me my cursor. I know you want it. Now, I know before you all freak out when my Flipgrid account comes up, okay, please do not freak out. Obviously, I signed up using the educator login. There is an educator feature. So I'm going to log in because that's where I'm already logged in. But don't freak out because I have 45 groups, okay? I happen to be a Flipgrid ambassador, and that is the only reason that I have been lucky enough to have been just given unlimited use. I work a lot with Flipgrid. I've met the CEO of Flipgrid, and he knows that I'm out here basically helping him spread the word of Flipgrid. So don't freak out about the 45. All right, so here we are. Here is Flipgrid. This is pretty basic. It's a basic kind of, you know, generic kind of dashboard, right? Kind of just like a basic website, right? You kind of got your discussion here. And what they mean by discussion is that's where all your groups and topics will sort of hang out, right? So all of your discussions are all going to be under this tab. Now, I'm going to talk more about this next week. This is about where you can go and borrow some serious awesomeness, but you can't really get to the discovery piece until you're really solid with how to navigate Flipgrid, okay? So activity, this is basically, it's their gamification, it's their badging system for Flipgrid. If you're into that kind of thing, right? Like basically you do all these things and then you get all these different badges. So that's what that is. Mixtape is an unusual feature that I haven't actually, it's brand new. But basically what it does is it takes little snippets of all of your other Flipgrids and puts it into one Flipgrid. I'm trying to figure out what would be the purpose of that, except maybe an end of the year or end of the semester celebration, or maybe just to have a gag reel. I'm not sure, but that could be something you can play with to see what happens. Another new feature that Flipgrid has just introduced is you can just make a video right here. Right? I mean, there's a million ways to make your video, right? But, Flipgrid just decided, hey, if you're in Flipgrid and you just need to make a video right here, you can just make it right here instead of making it in YouTube and then bringing it over to Flipgrid. So that's cool. So another new feature that I really love is this idea of grid pals. Now, I'm not going to get into it right now because I currently don't have a classroom, but the idea here is, well, they're going to want your profile. The idea here is that there are over 33,000 grid pals across the world. And what it's basically wanting you to do is you can get in contact with another school and you guys could be exchanging and people could be recording Flipgrids and kids in different parts of the country and in the world could be responding to your kids. How cool is that? Okay. We're always looking for that global connection. Well, here it is. All you got to do is mash a button. All right. So again, that might be something you learn with. That's not what I'm here to do. That's part of what learning is. Learning is, hey, what is this grid pal thing? How does this work? And you go in here and you mash all that. All right. That's what you do on your own. The bag of popcorn and you're chilling on the couch. What I'm going to do today, though, is I'm going to get us back into what we really hear is what do we do? What is this thing called Flipgrid? Now, I will tell you that when I signed in, I actually just made a video earlier today where I signed in as a new person. And I thought it was interesting that when I first came in, it defaulted me to my topics, which I thought was interesting. So I just want to make note of that. For some reason, I think because I already have groups made, it's gonna drop me right into my groups. But I just want you to realize that you can toggle between these two things. So basically, the way I would look at this is your bookshelf, and then these are all of your chapters of all of your books, right? So I'm not sure how often I would be on the topic side of things because I'm more organized and I'm going to keep things by groups. So the way, again, remember, a group is like a book, but a group is like better than the word grid. It is literally what it is. It's a group. It's what class, what activity, what unit, what project, whatever it is, what is this Flipgrid going to be for? What is this book going to be about, right? Or for? So for me, what I like to do is I'm going to create my first group, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it Learn for the Arts, because I love you. So let me spell it right. Now, let me begin with the end in mind. Every book is going to give you its own unique URL, and you could send the kids their book, and then they could go down and try to find the chapter. Also, every chapter has its own unique URL. In either case, you can send kids a link. Basically, bottom line, how you're going to get most kids to Flipgrid, especially right now, and we'll talk about Crisis to the Classroom and how you would use this tool in the classroom, is you can send them a link. Now, you can leave it two ways. You can either leave it private, which is recommended for kids, and they have to put this code in. That's not that hard, except for kids. And they might forget the code, and you got to remember to give them the code. So that is going to be a personal pedagogical decision on you. I personally teach grad students at NC State, and I don't need any barriers to access, right? And I'm not as concerned with my grad students because they're over 18 about anybody finding anything. Not that I really believe anybody is like searching for your Flipgrid, but I understand you got to keep kids safe. So for you, I would probably do private, and you got to give those kids that code. And that code will work for not only this book, but for every chapter in this book, for every topic. So that's the good news. It's one code. Okay. I'm purposely just going to make it public because that's just what I do. But see right there, it says public groups not recommended for classroom use, which makes sense, right? But here we go. That's going to be for you to decide. Now, so I don't have any topics. I could go grab some topics from some of my other books or other groups and put it in here right now if I wanted to, but I'm just going to act like I'm starting from scratch, right? So I've created my group. I've created my book. So there's a couple different ways I can share my book. So when you're back in the classroom and you have it up on your smartboard, all you're going to do is mash this. They're going to take their little weapon of mass instruction or their iPad. They're going to scan that with their camera. But for now, these might be the way you share it. If you're really into code, you know how to get into the code of Canvas or whatever you're using, you can get the embed code. Awesome. If you guys happen to be a PC district and you're using Teams, you can push it out to Teams. If you're a GAF, you can push it right out to your Google Classroom. I don't have any classes because I don't have any kids, but it would actually, when you toggle the Google Classroom, it would actually say which class do you want to give it to, okay? And then last but not least, I do use Remind, which is a texting app. I could literally send this link using Remind right to my kid's phone, okay? Or good old-fashioned way is you just copy this link and email it to them or put it in their website or whatever. Okay. So those are all the ways to share the book. Now, I don't often share the book, and let me show you why. So I'm going to go to my group, which is my book. Okay. It's my book or my group. Okay. But here you can do a bunch of different things. If you don't like this image, you can change it. You can edit everything in here. You can even edit the code if you wanted to try to see if you could find something more simple. You can have group followers. You can personalize. Like like one of my favorite ones. I always like to do this one just because I can't help myself. And then that becomes now the cover of my book. Okay. Again, that's stuff you plan on. So here we are, but we have a book, we have a group, but we don't have any topics, right? And that is where the magic actually happens, right? The group is really just the shell, right? The group is not an actual Flipgrid. The group just holds all of your topics, which are your Flipgrids. All right, let me show you what I mean. So here's my book or my shell, my group. Well, now I want to add a topic or where the actual magic happens. So we're going to learn about color. I don't even know what that means. So here's a couple different things. You can obviously just type in your question. That's perfectly, has all these WYSIWYG. You can boldface things. You can insert links right in here. Maybe you want them to watch a video first, and then they're going to record on the Flipgrid, or they're going to watch a performance, or someone play a piece of music, or you're going to have them go look at a piece of art, all sorts of things. And you could link that right there and send them on their way. Here's another thing that I love. You can also decide how long they have. Now, don't freak out. I think I have more than you will, but I think you have all of these up to 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure. I just don't think you get the 10-minute one. But I think you all get all of these choices. And again, that's just up to you. That's going to be based on your kid's developmental level, right? Kindergartner, they're not going to make a 3-minute video probably, right? But you just have to decide how long, how short you want these to be. All right. But you can change that. Here's the one thing I really love is that you can actually change the closed captioning to a different language in your Flipgrids. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put Spanish in there for now, just so I can show it off. Now, here are some other things that you can do. If I might actually make a recording of myself, right? Because what I want to do is I want to double down on both my written directions and I want to have my oral directions. So I might just say something like, you have 10 minutes. So as a teacher, you get 10 minutes. So you can do a lot of direct instruction right here. It's going to count you down. Okay, guys, today you're going to make a Flipgrid about your favorite color. Okay. You guys get it. It's just the gist, right? So you make your video, you do your things, you show your prompts. That's the other thing. You can model for kids. Like if you're doing an art project right now and you're doing it remotely, maybe you could show them yours and what you're looking for. You can do effects. These are the things you learn with, y'all. I'm going to let you do that all on your own. There's all sorts of crazy things you can hit here. You can have little snowman on in here. I can do all sorts of crazy, crazy things. I'm not going to do that now. You can play with that during Plern. Okay, guys, today I never listen to myself because I don't care. Let me be clear. I do never listen to my video to see if it's good or not. As long as I know I got the content covered, I don't care about the ums, the ahs, because kids want to hear you. They love the way you speak, all of your imperfections, all of it. The next thing it's going to want to do is have you take a selfie. I take my selfie and then push next. It's uploading it to my directions. And now when my kids come to this Flipgrid, they're not only going to have my directions here written, they're also going to have my directions here. And the good news about video, don't be afraid of video. Video gives every single kid in your classroom, from crisis to the classroom, it gives every single kid in your classroom a front seat to you. They can rewind you, they can stop you, they can listen to you. So video is your friend. So, all right, I don't think I want to add any more funness to this. I've already done everything I want to do. You can decide to turn on video moderation. Again, that's a personal pedagogical choice. It's also based on developmentally. It's also how did you pre-correct the class? How did you incentivize them? Did you do a practice Flipgrid? And we'll talk all about that in a minute. Once we get through here, I'll walk you through how I would actually do a Flipgrid the first time. So I'm going to create my topic. And as you can see, like I said, you can send the kids to the book and then they can find their chapter. I think it's easier on kids just to send them right to the chapter, right? I believe that's the easiest thing to do. And then what will look like on their end is when they come and they get that link, is this is what it looks like to them. So what will happen is over here, if I had typed more directions, there would be more directions right here, right? They can even listen to the directions. Type. And then again, see, I've doubled down on myself. Not only does Flipgrid help me out, but I also know that kids need to see and hear you. So I'm also going to have my video here. And then how kids would respond is, this is probably a good time for me to talk about this part. The first time you do a Flipgrid, do a Flipgrid about something silly. Please don't make it serious, right? It's just about practicing with the tool. It's called session 0. I went in with my 6th grade science teacher and I co-taught with her as we onboarded kids to Flipgrid. Her first Flipgrid was name your favorite movie that has science in it. That's not anywhere in the objectives, but she was just trying to teach them how to use Flipgrid. But what was key is she answered her own question in her first Flipgrid. Why? Because you must model what you expect. So if you don't answer the very first time and you give a response to your own question to model what you expect, then you're going to get all sorts of craziness in your Flipgrid, and that's going to be your fault. So you would want to show them how they can use this. Oh, I just happen to love art, so you guys will appreciate this. You can use props. I have kids that do sketch notes and they put them up in the mirror and do all this stuff. So seriously, I really am actually an art fan. The Musée d'Orsay, I've been to Paris. Love it better than the Louvre. I'm sorry, Louvre, but I love it better. Okay. Anyway, so you want to model what you expect, right? But I don't even think I was filming that whole time. That's funny. So you model what you expect, blah, 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 right? You answer your own questions. You use props, right? And then you say, next. So you model what you don't listen to yourself because you don't care. And then you're going to pop up there. But I'm going to borrow something from Brandon. Brandon reminded me, not only should you do the one that you expect, but you should do a non-example. Do one where you're bad, not like get yourself in trouble with parents bad, but where you do one that, which you would not accept, right? So I thought that was brilliant. So once again, when you first do Flipgrid, do a very simple one. Answer yourself modeling what's appropriate. Answer yourself modeling not so appropriate. And then talk to the kids and say what was good about the one that was right, what wasn't so great about the one that wasn't, and then let them go. And then go back and watch everybody's, and everybody can talk about how each other said, right? That's called a session 0. You've got to let kids practice with these tools before you actually expect them to turn in really good video, okay? Now, I'm going to stop there, and there are a couple things that I want to show you in a second, but I want to stop and ask if there are any questions or concerns right now. Say word or Brandon.
Everything looks golden.
Okay, well, I want to show you a couple other things. So,
Hopefully nobody's head's exploding.
well, yeah, I know it's a lot. It's a lot. Remember, there's a video that's going to show you everything I just showed you. Okay, let me, like, remember, smell the cookies, breathe the soup. Oh, this thing is so annoying, Brandon. How do you get rid of it?
You just have to wait, and then
Yeah, but
what I often do is I'll actually pull the entire Chrome window down.
yeah, okay, that's what I'm gonna have to do. But
Okay.
just as a reminder, before you freak out, this slide right here, this video right here on this slide, slide 21, is a video of what I just did. I promise. Okay. But I want to get back in here and show you a couple of little tricks and tips that are still what I consider in the basic realm. Oh, well, let's see this. Well, one, I want to see this. Okay, guys, today you're going to make a Flipgrid about your favorite color. Okay. You guys get it. It's just the gist, right? All right, that didn't change it to Spanish, so that's interesting why that one didn't. Let me see if this one did. It's funny. So you model what you expect, blah, 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 right? Use props. Right. See, I'm gonna have to look into that because I don't see where the closed captions are coming in. So I'm gonna have to email them about that. But I want to show you one other thing about kids. Oops. What am I doing? Losing my mind. All right. Oops. I promise you guys I'm gonna get there eventually. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. Now, I want to actually share, copy. All right, I'm going to show you something that can be good for some of your, oh my goodness. I'm just having a fail copy and paste moment there. So you mod. All right. Okay, why am I not getting where I need to be? Oh, I see. I don't want to just see, all right, Flipgrid. I don't want to see just my video anymore. These windows are driving me crazy. All right, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'll get us there. I just want to see this so I can show you one more thing. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, that took forever. All right, I want to show you something, and I was looking at this the other day, and so I hope I don't mess up and forget how to do this. But you know, you're going to have kids that are shy, right? You're going to have to work with kids that aren't necessarily as awesome with video, right? Now, like I said, I've had kids like just hold their sketch notes in front of their camera and like they never come out from behind the piece of paper, which is fine. That'll work. But there are a couple of options where you can, what was the one? You can start recording your screen. There was another one though. I think you can, yeah, you can add a sticker. And Brandon or one of you guys can jump in. And I swear there was a way for you to block off, oh, the screen. Well, I know what it is. So what you could do is you could teach kids, right? What you could do is you would teach kids to record their screen. And then all they would do is, you know, they would do this and they would say share, and then they would just like get up on this, and now they're just recording their screen, so they don't have to see their face. Does that make sense? Right? So that's one way that kids cannot have to show their face. Get up on this, and now they're just all right.
I'm pretty sure that it's in post-production that
Okay.
if they sit very still, then they can put a sticker or an emoji over the top of it, because the amazing Linda Good has been doing The Masked Singer, basically, where they put an emoji over their face.
Right. So that's one way to do it. But during the actual recording, yeah, you could put an emoji over your face during the recording. But another way is to show them how to record their screen, and they're just talking in the background, but their face is never on camera. So either one of those work. So basically that is Flipgrid in a nutshell. Okay. Again, a reminder, your groups are your books or your classes or your projects or your periods or whatever you want to do it. And then inside of those are going to be your topics, and those are actually where the Flipgrids live. All right. You can always use a little button to edit it and do all those kinds of things. And again, this is something that you're going to have to learn with. One of the reasons we did a 101 is because we really hope that you kind of get in here and fool around with all of this, because Flipgrid is like, I reckon it to how when you go to a restaurant, I really like spicy food. I'm from New Orleans. So I'm always looking for the item with the most jalapenos, like little stars next to it, 1 jalapeno, 2 jalapeno, 3 jalapeno. Well, I'm looking for the 3 jalapeno. And that's kind of how I talk about tools. Like tools like Vocaroo, a simple recording tool, is a 1 pepper tool. There's really little learning curve. Padlet is a 2 pepper tool. Flipgrid can be a 3 pepper tool if you don't get your head around it. So I'm getting ready to turn it back over to the team. But so just the idea here is we're getting ready to show you some examples. We're going to get some ideas from you. We're going to give you some learn time. But if you plan on coming back next week and I really show you some of the juicy, sweet parts of Flipgrid, then you should take some time this week to learn, okay? Get yourself familiar, at least have made 1 or 2 Flipgrids, at least shared it with maybe, not, if you're not ready to share it with your kids, at least shared it with maybe your teammates, okay? All right, I'm gonna turn it back over to these guys, and you guys tell me where you want me to be.
Okay, we did have one question. Elizabeth asked, can students see one another's videos?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do it where they can't see each other's videos? Okay, so they always see each other's, and this is a group.
This is an interactive group tool. There is going to have to be a digital culture. You are going to have to do some pre-corrects, and you are going to have to do some incentivizing. You may even have to send a separate note. Not all 25 or whatever kids are going to try to be icky on your Flipgrid. Only a couple of them are going to. And you should know who they are. And if you don't, that's your fault, right? So you have to set the digital culture. You do your pre-corrects. You talk to those couple little squirrels in your class that you know might give you a little bit of trouble. And the most important thing you can do is do that session 0, like Brandon and I were talking about, where you actually have them on board doing something simple and you model what you expect in your answer. Okay? Anything else out there before we move on? Actually, I'm about to turn back all over to you guys. It's all your juicy stuff.
Unless something's changed, you can set. There's a setting in there, and I'm not in the classroom, so I'm not actively using it. But when I was in the classroom, it absolutely had a setting that allows you to moderate it so they can't see each other's work.
Oh, great.
Well, I know you can video moderate, but does that mean I think that meant that you could watch it and approve it before it went onto the grid.
Right. So if you never approve it, no one can ever see it other than
right. You. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I think the point here is they were trying to see, is there a feature where everybody's could be up there, but somehow they could not see each other's. So there's no way to do that.
In the performing arts class, especially instrumental music, a lot of the kids would just be mortified. Right. If they had a performing test or a performing example that everyone could see. So having that moderated setting is really beneficial.
Yep, I love it. I love it. In that case, that makes absolute sense.
So let me ask Wendy how you did that. So students would submit their work and you would grade it while watching it, but then just not hit or put that it was not accepted or whatever.
Again, it's been a while since I've been in there clicking, and I'm not currently in the classroom, so I'm not a practitioner right now with Flipgrid. But there's a setting when you set up the assignment that allows you to go in and set it to be moderated, where you as the instructor allow the videos to be seen by others. The kids don't have to do anything. It's you.
Great. Awesome. Oh, and it says, Janet says use hidden instead of active, which I have seen some of the teachers that shared things with us that you could click hidden or active. I do remember that because they shared their Flipgrid with us, but hid the ones they didn't want anybody to see or look at. That
Right.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
That's right. We learn together. Great community of arts educators.
Yes. Right. So right here. So if this is so I'm my own student,
Awesome.
I can actually turn it off right there. That's what they're talking about.
Great.
So when you go to grade, there's several different ways you can grade, but if you go into Flipgrid, go into your book, and then you go down and look at all of your students' responses, you can hide them if you wish, right? You can also delete them. You can move them. You can add it to a mixtape. You can do all sorts of stuff. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. So our examples start on slide 22. Yeah, if you go back one more slide, just for everyone to be aware, this is a lot of resources. You know that we like to give you a whole lot that you can come back and dive into. So we do have some general Flipgrid ideas. Some of those have a few arts ed ideas within them. So you'll want to kind of click through those and find the ones that might be relevant to what you are doing or what you might need them for. Not all of them will necessarily be relevant for you, but you can definitely find, a couple in each of those. And then we tried to split some out, again, with some examples specific to different content areas. So some of these might be articles, some of these might be somebody else's Flipgrid that they've used or done and shared with us. Some of them might just be ideas that other people generated. So again, you'll want to take some time to kind of click through those and see which ones might be helpful for you.
I just want to interject for a second and remind everybody that, we often, especially in the performing arts, steal ideas from one another. So theater arts teachers, hit everybody. You all dance, sing, make instruments, set design, all of that. So.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. You'll get ideas from seeing what some of the other examples are and see how you could adapt something to your own. So we're going to also go through now. We have a few more specific examples to show you. So this next slide, those of you who joined us earlier for our session with Felicia know that we absolutely love Felicia, and she's fantastic, wonderful educator, and also resource for you to contact for any sort of instructional needs. But she's done an entire webinar specifically on Flipgrid in the music classroom. So you can go to that archived webinar, watch the recording, and then there's also this slide deck there for you to look at. So she's got additional resources for you in there, but very specific to music class. Again, other content areas, you can look through that as well and also see how you could adapt some of that. But I definitely highly suggest that you kind of come back to that and look through it at another time and dive deep into her slide deck there. All right, on the next slide, we have a video. Brandon, will we be able to watch the whole thing or just the beginning part of it?
I would go ahead and just play for a couple minutes of it.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Chris Martin here. I am a teacher at the Franklin School of Innovation in Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm going to share a little bit about Flipgrid today. I teach middle school 5th through 8th grade. So I have my grids here. I go to 5th grade theater, and I have a wax museum. I'd like to share the students' recorded videos of their monologues. And we also did Wax Museum Hero Trading Cards with Adrian Fortune, the technology teacher. Let's go through some of these videos to show you a sneak peek of their monologue they created with props, costumes, set pieces, etc. Here's Nova's Joan Jett. I'm going to show you a little bit of that.
I grew up in a world where they said girls couldn't play rock and roll. I proved them wrong. Hi, my name's Joan Jett. I'm a female pioneer in a strongly male-dominated world of rock. I was born on September 1958. My first official band was called The Runaways. I was 15 when I wrote the song Cherry Ball. That song launched me and my band into the world of pop rock. I got my first guitar at age 15, sponsoring my love for music. Some of my albums didn't play well in North America, but we got a warm welcome from Japan. Struggled through 2 more albums, and then the band called it quits. A breakup's like different. It's like a death. After the breakup, I didn't know.
So that's an example of my Wax Museum video. Joan.
Do you want me to show some more, or is that getting us the gist?
No, I was gonna say that's good. So he goes on to actually even show that they used Padlet to make their trading cards for the Wax Museum. He goes on to point out the different theater standards that they worked on through voice and gestures and set design and lighting and such. And he's middle school, and there are some great examples of young kids in this video that just did some really great work, just with a simple camera and Flipgrid.
Awesome.
And Chris has done quite a few projects related to it. He had actually, 15 minutes worth of video to share with us of different projects. And he did say, he was more than willing to share his email and say, if any of you want to contact him directly for ideas for theater and Flipgrid, he's more than happy to chat with you and help give you some more ideas and examples there. All right, this next one, we can watch. This is a visual art teacher from Greenville, Melissa Harrell.
Hey, our educators, it's good to see y'all. So I'm Melissa Harrell, and I teach art at Winter Green Intermediate in Greenville, North Carolina, and it's ages, 3rd grade through 5th grade. I've got about 750 students, and we've been back going week A, week B, and virtual since August. Yeah, so I've discovered Flipgrid. I discovered it in the spring. It's an awesome program where my students can share videos of themselves describing their artwork, and they can share it with me. They can share it with their peers also. So it's just it's an educator-based program. So it's, again, called Flipgrid. So I'm going to show you a little bit about it. The lesson that I used was this particular lesson. Let me try and make my face smaller. Okay, so I taught them about the contemporary artist Jason Naylor. He's a graffiti artist, and we used a really fun digital paint tool. It's free. It's called Sumo Paint. And so they learned about Sumo Paint, and they got to create a design. It's a very positive design. And so then I let them upload that as a video to Flipgrid. So whenever you're doing Flipgrid, you can go to flipgrid.com, and it's a free program. And of course you sign up as an educator. Okay. But I've already signed up. So when I click that, it automatically logs me in. And if you're a student, they get a code for my Flip.
Should I advance it to something so we can see the actual student product?
I was just thinking the same thing. If you want to, just skip forward a little bit.
Let's see what Wells has to say.
Hey everybody, I'm Wells James, and I'm in this graphic class, and I'm in 5th grade. Here's my senior drawing. Hold on.
There's Wells. And then I don't know.
Again, just like we talked about last week, anytime that we can get our students to talk about their artwork, we're also reinforcing presentation skills or in ELA, which always, that arts integration goes 2 ways. It's good stuff.
Great. Yeah. So again, you can watch that in more detail if you want to check out a little bit more of her visual art ideas. And again, Melissa said the same thing. If you want to chat with her, reach out by email. She's happy to brainstorm more ideas with you. We can move on to the next one is Heather Harris. She is a dance instructor here in Wake County, and she's going to talk a little bit about how she gives feedback for the dances that her students are submitting.
Hi, my name is Heather Harris, and I teach dance at Panther Creek High School in Cary. I have really found some success with Flipgrid when I want to give students real feedback.
Oops. My bad.
There you go.
Hi, my name is Heather Harris, and I teach dance at Panther Creek High School in Cary. I have really found some success with Flipgrid when I want to give students real feedback that they can hear and see. I especially find this helpful when I'm giving them a formative assessment to send me a check-in video. I can then watch the video, give them feedback, allow them to refine their performance, and then resubmit a performance later for their summative assessment. In order to do this, you would go to each individual student and select the feedback tab. And then over here, you'll see I have a rubric, but I can also record feedback. And then you would hit the record button on the bottom. Here's an example of one that I did for a student. Hi, Yana, just one little detail. On the kind of off balance step, this arm comes from here, and then this arm comes from here. So they don't open out to the side. It's this arm forward, this arm forward. So from the top, and then just from the shoulder. So in this instance, I was able to point out what she had done incorrectly, give her a demonstration of how to do it correctly. I also have given students longer feedback where I've run through the entire dance again with the music, with the counts, pointing out areas that they may need to spend extra attention on. I really feel like this has made it more personal and really lets the students see instead of just trying to interpret what your words might mean. I hope this is helpful, and I hope this is something you can use with your class.
That's amazing. I wrote it in the chat too, but all of us trying to fix kids' posture, their embouchure, their fingerings, anytime we have to show kids, that's amazing. That's super cool.
And we'll go back, and when we're done, right before we go to Plurn, we'll drop in Plurn, and then I'll really quickly show you where that rubric piece is. And I'm sorry I forgot that part.
That's great.
Right.
So this next one, this is just 3 examples from another teacher, Amelia Bird. She is in High Point, but she gave the written directions so that you could see her directions for these 3 different assignments that she gives her students. So the first one, this creating a dance of shapes, is actually a Google slideshow that she walks them through. They look at different examples of dancers and photographs, and then they need to create something from that. So the directions are all within the Google slideshow. You can take a look at that. And then the other 2, she gives those examples of as well. So if you wanted specific lesson plan ideas, that's there, but it just shows you how she uses Flipgrid for multiple types of assignments. So this is one where she gives the directions, and then she gives them examples of things to look at. And then they turn it in and submit everything through Flipgrid. So each of these are different components that from the dance standards, and she approaches them all slightly differently so that they have, different things that they're having to submit each time. So Amelia is another one that you can contact again if you have any questions. She is one of the board members of NCDEO, so she is happy to talk with you and brainstorm and answer any dance questions that you might have, or anything other arts areas as well. We have one more dance teacher that is on the next page, and she did send video examples of the student work and the submissions from her students. So the top one, that is student introduction videos that she did first. And so she had students introduce themselves and talk about their dance experience or what they want to get out of the class, and just to say, who they are, so she can get to know them. So we could watch that one if you would like. It's pretty quick, but it's a great example, I think.
Right. Plus, It's also
My name
just
is Emma
session
Mitchell.
0.
I love to dance because it just makes me feel free. I love how my body flows with the music. Dancing just takes away all my inhibitions. I may not be that great of a dancer right now, but I am anxious to learn more.
Great. And then she's got 2 other examples that are completely different. So this one is a choreography project of how her dancer can do something in a very small space with a limited portion of the body. So there's just a quick example there of creating a dance, again, small space.
And remember that when we're not live streaming all of this, it is clear and you'll be able to see it much better.
Yeah. So that's fine. And then the last one is an example of how she was teaching students about Yvonne Rainer and some of her DIY at home improv explorations. And so they were literally exploring with their environment, with the furniture, with things around them, and finding movement in everyday objects as well as bodies. So they were looking at, what other things move and can you explore and relate to, and kind of redefining what movement can be and what dance can be. So it's just another quick example, but you can watch that on your own time if you need to. All right, so these are just some examples, and I'll let Lisa take it back from here.
All right. Well, so what we're going to do is, as promised, we've got about 27 or so minutes. This is supposed to go to 5:30. Brandon Sayward and I are here. We're going to put some nice music on, but all of us are here to be thought partners, to answer any questions. If there's something else you want me to show, like I know myself, I'm going to go jump over to Flipgrid and take a look at that grading piece. So if anybody wants to watch me show that, but this is just your opportunity while we're still in the room to play with Flipgrid. Just get in there, mash those buttons, see what this button does. What does this button do? Make one for your family, share it out. So we're just going to put some music on and be here, and hopefully you're just sitting there learning, and we'll ask you in a few minutes what you're planning on.
And of course, stay with us so that we can give you all your CEU credit information at the end.
Yeah, of course. Important point.
Lisa, we've got a question in the chat. Courtney is asking about sharing Flipgrid in Canvas. She says, I got the consumer key and the shared secret and activated it in settings. When I go to a page and click the plugin, Flipgrid is not in the drop-down menu. Has she missed a step?
Sorry, say that again.
I'm trying to use Flipgrid in Canvas. I got the consumer key and the shared secret and activated it in settings. When I go to a page and click the plugin, Flipgrid is not on the drop-down menu. Have I missed a step?
No. What they're probably going to have to do, this is just my guess, is when you let me go get one of mine. Sorry, I was just playing around with the grid there. This is just my thinking, so I'm going to do the best that I can. What I would do probably, share. No, I want to share this. Is you may, if you, do you know how to toggle from the editor side to the HTML side? Does it allow you to do, to change the editor?
Yes.
Yeah. And if it does, then
Like
that's what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to grab the embed code and hope that the embed code, that Canvas will allow that embed code to sit there. So I would just create a page in Canvas, call it Flipgrid, toggle over to the HTML editor and drop your code in. And again, that's exactly what Plurn is. That's what you have to do in order to figure it out. Unless somebody else has something, has a better idea than what I have.
I'll go ahead and give that a try. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, let us know. This is exactly what Plurn is about. It's like solving problems for each other, right? The smartest person in the room is the room. So we can solve real-time problems right now with everybody here. And that's a great one to try to solve because I didn't even think about that. Because I always link mine out, but I know you don't always want your kids jumping every which way but loose.
Michaela, you absolutely can link and just use hyperlinks to your Flipgrids on Canvas.
You can.
Using the WYSIWYG text editor. Yeah, that's very easy.
That is very easy, but just out of curiosity, can you grab the embed code? Will it allow you to toggle over to the HTML editor?
Courtney just said it worked.
Oh, it does work. Okay, so you can do it either way. And that's just going to be a matter of choice, right? That's just going to be a matter of, do you trust your kids leaving Canvas or you don't want your kids to leave Canvas, basically?
Can I ask another question?
Of course.
So, do I have to create an email list for my kids or can they just join with their Google email? There's a click button that says join with Google.
No, if they're old enough and they're used to it and they've been on Chromebooks, just let them do it themselves.
Great. So I don't have to create that big long email. Wonderful.
I wouldn't, but I would teach them, like you noticed, I mean, if you remember, right after you take your selfie and then it comes up and it had Lisa H in there. And then it asks for your email and some other stuff. I would just tell them never do any of that. Don't put their email in there anywhere.
Super. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brandon and Sarah, did you see this? This is new too, I think. So you can get a transcript. You know how sometimes closed captions don't say it right?
Yeah.
You can go in there and edit it.
That's awesome.
I know.
I know
Flipgrid is going for world domination. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, look at that. That's insane. You can download the captions. So if a kid said, I never said that, you can be like, yes, you did. I have it right here in writing. Oh, that's hysterical. Yeah, I don't even think I can keep up with Flipgrid. I think they're putting new stuff in here almost, it seems like every week now. This is insane. They're going for world domination.
All right, everybody. As you are continuing to learn, we wanted to bring you to the table. So it's time for potluck style. We just added a link into the chat here of a Padlet, and when you go to that Padlet, Lisa, it's way up. Yeah, there you go. You can you'll see the different disciplines, theater arts and visual arts. Make sure you scroll all the way to the right, because it's all in alphabetical order, and then go ahead and click the plus underneath the column so that you can add an idea for how to use Flipgrid in your content area. Lisa's going to show you. Here you go. Perfect. Yep. So go ahead and just click on the pluses, and then the way that you make your sticky stick is you can just click anywhere off of your sticky and it'll stick. We're going to continue to build out in this both this week and next week, and the link to this will go out in a follow-up email tomorrow. So don't worry about saving it. It'll be resent out to you tomorrow.
Love these ideas as they're coming in. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Nice. Love these ideas, guys. Keep them coming. Oh, embed works. I wasn't looking at the chat. Nice. And guys, don't forget, this is something that will continue to follow you from the crisis to the classroom. If you happen to be in a track out school, I know that I worked with my music teacher, and they did basically a recorder karaoke. I don't know what their karate, I don't know what they did, but basically they all record on the Flipgrid and they could each earn a belt, and they did it during track out, right? So, Flipgrid, once we get back in the classroom, can become a center. It can be some of their flip work, some of their homework. It can be a way to keep connected over holidays or track outs. I used it to introduce all my staff to each other, like way back in the beginning. In the summer, I would send out a Flipgrid to all the staff so they could introduce themselves, and so that new staff could see what they're walking into before they came. And so Flipgrid is just basically awesome. Pretty much just awesome. And the stuff we're going to show you next week, you're not gonna believe it.
I love how everybody is just blowing up this Padlet.
I know. And this is also just a good modeling of how, if you are ever to use Flipgrid, both from crisis to the classroom, if you have kids going to a Padlet and you're not either sharing it on your screen while they're adding to it, or you don't have it up on your whiteboard and showing them that you're watching, then of course they might get a little squirrely. So anytime I have my kids adding, or what I say kids, my teachers doing something and they're adding their work to the Padlet is up on the whiteboard so that they can see that I'm monitoring. I got people even giving each other hearts and stuff. There's all this love going on. There's a love fest going on in this Padlet. Love it. Love it. Yeah, there was somebody, there's not an arts pad. Sorry, arts, we're sorry. We put you all the way out there at the end.
We've been trying to stick to the standard course of study language of visual art. So, yeah, you guys are at the end.
Yeah.
We still
Oh,
love
so you
you.
just did it. Oh, you just did it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have like, I have like 25 kids in my grad classes, and yeah, they have to scroll and scroll and scroll. I've never found a limit to the number of shells so far in Padlet, which is a good thing, I think. So it's really great.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Any other last minute questions or concerns or anything that you want me or Sayward or Brandon to answer or show or drop it into the Plurn? I just added a screen share to the, look at these people. They're not only are they're in there adding visuals and stuff. Wait, I'm trying to find this visual. Where is this visual? Under what,
Janet, which subject is that?
yeah, what subject is it? I'm refreshing just in case. Sometimes images take them. Oh,
She's
there
on
it is.
Music General.
I use, oh, what happened to it? Oh, it's just processing. It's okay. Look, they use the invisible snowman.
Yay! Janet, you must have been at last week's session.
Oh, so funny. She said yes.
That's great.
The invisible snowman is alive. He's alive.
Awesome. All right,
Poor
guys.
little guy never gets any attention.
So we're gonna go ahead and give you guys some wrap up and give you some time to finish the survey during our closing remarks here. Oh, sorry, Lisa, go ahead and do your pie.
Hey guys, just one last little thing. I know you guys are really quick at learning and we know it, but it's always important for us. Feedback is a gift for us and learning doesn't occur. And this is just one more opportunity, one more protocol that you can borrow from us. But we were just wondering if in the chat, we love some pie. I love me some cherry pie. So how about you just tell us in the chat, like what was your priceless piece of information that you got from today's session? What's one item you're going to implement? And for the E of your pie, what was some encouragement that you received today? So why don't you go ahead and drop in that pie? Priceless piece of information, item to implement, encouragement that you received. I'll give you about 2 minutes to do that, and then stay tuned for just a few more things that Brandon's got to go over that you will not want to miss. Strawberry rhubarb is the best. Actually, I like cherry, but that's okay.
Oh, no, strawberry rhubarb.
Oh, come on. All right, guys, what are your pies? Embed, Flipgrid, yes.
Oh, I think we have a note that the closed captions is off.
Oh. Thank you for keeping us honest, y'all.
Well, which one am I in?
I think you might need to be in the other one.
Yeah, I think I was in the presentation one. I'm afraid, I apologize, y'all. All right, we should be good now.
Awesome.
All right. Yep, that's right. It's not, if you walk away, any session I ever give, please, 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 that you cannot be perfect. Your kids, you're not perfect in front of your kids every day. So nothing really changes when it comes to technology. It just makes us as human beings more anxious. And because it fails visibly, but we owe it to our kids. We owe it to our kids to get out of our own way and make learning look like how they live. They deserve it. Yeah, Grid Pals, looking for that way to meet that global outcome that we hardly ever meet, but we say we do because we do holidays around the world and we're done. Yeah, I mean, come on, can you imagine? Especially in this day and age, can you imagine being able to talk to another class in California? I don't know. It'd just be crazy. Oh, what encouragement did you receive?
I was going to say, especially for us arts folk, one of the things that I think has been great in this digital platform is that now we are really truly able to archive and collate individual student data, which is difficult, when you're in band rehearsal. And so being able to integrate videos and the rubric and the feedback all in one tool, I think is priceless.
Yep, absolutely.
It's awesome.
And then you're going to see even more the dessert stuff. Like the reason we're going to show it's because it's amazing, but there's some other things when we talk about learning differences and how to make sure all your kids can access these tools. We're going to show you some amazing things about Flipgrid next week that are going to literally blow your mind. Like literally, like I've outlasted it. I was teaching it. I don't even know. I was teaching it and there was like, I didn't even do what I was supposed to do. There was a button that I had not mashed. And I was like, wait, what? So anyway, you're gonna be the beneficiary of my own personal plan.
Great. Well, guys, keep putting in your pie as we kind of go through the last of these slides here for you.
Somebody wants to know if we're gonna are you guys gonna keep the chat? They want the transcript.
The chat, the transcript, and the video are all in the same kind of hub, and WebEx will process all of that information tonight, and I will send all of that information out tomorrow in an email. So definitely follow up with that. Great. So, right, any lingering questions, let us know now. I'll check Facebook too. All of that information tonight, and I will send all of that information out. Awesome. Great. So our closing business. Again, thank you so much for being here today. We are so excited about this whole buffet series. So you will be able to access your closing survey here in just a second. Yep, there it is in the chat. And remember to save your certificate. It should come straight to you in your email within 24 hours. If it doesn't, please reach out to me and let me know. But that when you go in, please do make sure that you choose today's session, not last week's session, for which certificate or which session you're giving feedback on. Additionally, remember that your digital badge comes with all 3 of those CEUs. Help spread the word. Last week we had another, I think 15, 20 people sign up between last week and this week. Thank you so much for all of you who are using our hashtag and sharing our registration form. Tell your peers, tell your friends that this is good stuff, and remember that they can catch up in our webinar archive as well. You'll even have a link to today's recording, the Facebook recording, in tomorrow's email, so that you can even just click on it and share it so that all of your friends can see how amazing you are. All right, and there is all of our information. I hope that this first course has left you hungry for more, and we will see you for dessert next Tuesday, October 6th.
That's right. All right, this sounds good. All right, guys, I'm super excited. I'm telling you, we've only really this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more in Flipgrid. This was kind of let's get the basic stuff out of the way, the clunky stuff out of the way. And then next week, you're going to see how you can zoom through and borrow awesome and get so many Flipgrids at your fingertips, as well as some other ways to help your students that may have some learning challenges access your Flipgrids. All right. So I'm super excited. Thank you all. Make sure you give a shout out to Flipgrid at Flipgrid. They always love out there. They're a really great company. They really are here to support teachers. So if you're tweeting, give some Flipgrid some love. And until then, I give you love and thank you so much during this unique and challenging time. that you're showing up each and every day for your kids. Thank you for being an educator in the state of North Carolina. And I will see you next week.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us again. We are so thankful to have you here for these 3 sessions, and just really cannot say thank you enough.
Nope, my pleasure. I'm learning. I've got all sorts of notes. Like, see, borrowing awesome doesn't just go one way, y'all. There's definitely some super awesomeness coming my way. So thank you all for that.
And remember that all of our sessions are formed off of your feedback. So I'm watching all of your feedback roll in now, and I love it, especially that last question of what topics and sessions might you like us to dive into? That's very important because we're trying to deliver whatever you guys are looking for.
Yeah, that's how we decide what to create next based on the information that you all give us. So we're excited to move forward and where your interests are.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing. So I'm going to let you guys take over. So if there's anything you all need to do, so you can have it. Oh, oh, wow. Thank you guys. These are so awesome. Thank you. Great ideas. Jump in. I like that pie. Yay. Yay. Yay.